Hello everyone. Today I'm going to give more explanation about the paper Employment Opportunities and High School Completion During the Covid-19 Recession by Aan, June and Winters. As we all know, has the Covid-19 pandemic a significant influence on our life. We experienced severe employment decreases and businesses, schools and public places had to close. School closures seemed especially critiqued for people in their senior year. So in this paper, the researchers want to examine if there is an effect of Covid-19 on high school completion rates in the US. This paper contributes to the existing literature in two ways. First, we know about Covid-19 now for slightly more than a year, and the literature around this virus and the effects on different aspects is rapidly growing. This paper contributes to this research to understand the effects of the virus on the economy better. Second, the researchers contribute to the literature that examines educational decisions via the human capital framework, and especially the link between investment in human capital and macroeconomic conditions. So first we will look at the theoretical framework of this paper, and on the next slide I will explain something about the empirical framework the researchers used. Completing additional schooling involves marginal costs. That could be, for example, that schooling costs money, but also time. But also marginal benefits such as learning, socializing, and an expected higher wage in the future. The human capital model states that students will go for additional schooling if the marginal benefits are bigger than the marginal costs. Covid-19 influences these benefits and costs in different ways. For example, lower time costs, because employment is lower, but higher financial costs for people without an adequate internet access, etc. To summarize, if marginal costs decreases more than marginal benefits, high school completion will go up. If marginal costs increase more than marginal benefits, high school completion will go down. Researchers used individual data from US current population survey to examine the effect on high school completion rates. They used data from July because this is after a previous school year and before the next school year, so in the summer break, and for students aged 18 and 19. They compared 2020 with the pre-COVID years, 2016 till 2019. They used a regression with different characteristics such as local employment, state public policy, etc., which may influence the marginal costs or marginal benefits to analyze how the high school completion rate has changed. On this last slide, I will discuss the results. The researchers found that high school completion rates rise by 6.9% between the pre-COVID years and 2020 for students aged 18 and 4.5% for students aged 19. This is partly because the rate for students aged 19 was already very high, but we can conclude that for both ages the high school completion rate rised. The second result they found was that year-over-year employment change was 13% lower in 2020 than in the pre-COVID years. So the researchers could observe a combination of record low employment in the US and a rise in high school completion by students aged 18 or 19. So the final conclusion of the paper is that worse local employment conditions are the main driving force to complete high school because the opportunity cost of schooling is lower than in a recession period than in a booming period.